Story 1. Has my MIL lost it? My boyfriend, 33, and I, 28, have been together 5 years. We've never fought with my MIL at all and always provided her with respect. Recently, around 2 weeks ago, we had a perfect baby girl together. While I was pregnant with her, I explained to MIL about me being SA'd and how I feared similar would happen to our daughter and how that made me hesitant for her to stay with others. MIL shared her story about being molested by an older cousin, but shortly followed it up with, "But that happens one way or another to any girl," which made me uncomfortable. A few days ago, we were letting the baby meet family and she started to get fussy. I said her diaper may need change due to her eating before we left to come to the family member's home. MIL stated she would change her. When she unbuttoned the baby, I said, well, her diaper isn't wet, so just to leave the diaper on her. She then proceeded to have a 10-year-old boy. She keeps look at our newborn's private parts by telling him over and over to look at it because he had been asking what girl parts looked like. I got upset and explained to my boyfriend it made me upset because that was a violation of our daughter's privacy, and what if that made him think he had the right to look or touch her if he wanted? My boyfriend then tells his mom that that was not okay as she was bragging, saying, "I taught him a teaching moment earlier," and acting like it wasn't a terrible thing to do. Mind you, on the ride home, she said she was going to have to stop the 10-year-old from sleeping in the bed with her because he was getting boners. The next day, she messaged boyfriend and disowned him for making her feel stupid and old in front of people. She also advised boyfriend his whole family will disown him as well because of him treating her like that. Boyfriend blocked her, and then she blocked my family and I. I feel we didn't overreact at all, but what is your opinion? Comment 1. Who cares what the peds said? You said 2 weeks to be safe towards your preemie babies during flu/RSV season. It's honestly a safe rule and a respectful boundary considering MIL likes to travel a lot. This isn't a Beck MIL, either BTW. This is verging on just no because she keeps pushing boundaries and wanting to overstep. This is a MIL who needs a timeout and some consequences. The not good enough thank you complaints is pathetic and awful towards a new parent. Again, who cares? It's a card. Sorry, but I hate having to make sure to appropriately thank older people for their cards. It's a card they picked out, has no interpersonal note, and any thank you is good enough. Comment 2. I mean, to be fair to the pediatrician, if someone called and said, "Hi, I'm a grandma, and I'm traveling, and I want to keep my grandkids safe in case I get exposed to something. Could you tell me how long you generally tell people to isolate after travel, and if a mask would help or not? I just want to keep my grandbabies as safe as possible." That's a pretty vague request, and no patient-specific information is being requested. And I wouldn't be mad at a pediatrician that responded something like, "Obviously, I can't speak to every child as some might have different immune system problems, but in general, we advise a healthy child should be okay with 5 days in masking." Again, no HIPAA information is being given. Comment 3. I'd be tempted to say something like, MIL, it was a major overstep to call our pediatrician, and consequently, you are not welcome to visit for the foreseeable future because we are taking an extended break from you. We understand that you may have an extreme reaction to this, but your feelings are your own to manage, and we are not responsible for your lack of emotional regulation. We have a 2-week rule regardless of what the doctor says because that is a final parenting decision that we have made to keep our babies safe. We do not have to justify ourselves to you because these are our children, not yours, so if you don't respect our boundaries, you simply will not have a relationship with us. This is not up for debate. We will not be responding to any calls, texts, or emails for the next few weeks, and will let you know when we are ready to speak to you again. Comment 4. First, your MIL is BEC, and there needs to be some serious distance from her. A lot of people on here are saying get a new pediatrician, but I think first you need to know if they released any specific information about you or your children. MIL could have asked general questions without revealing who she is and not asked anything specific about your family. A doctor may give general medical advice out over the phone, at least in Australia, without ever referring to any specific patient. That being said, if they did give out specific information, sue them, report them for a HIPAA violation, and get a new pediatrician. Comment 5. I'm a grandma to 13 and mother-in-law to 3. I do not, for the life of me, understand these JustNoMils and grandmas. No, I do not want to hold the baby for hours. No, I do not want to rush to the house to interrupt the new baby's bonding with the parents. I can bond when they are older. And no, I do not want to push to see my grandchildren if there is any chance I can make them sick or they can make me sick. Comment 6. You also need to save that young boy. Call his relatives if you know them. Comment 7. I work with DV/CSA/CA victims, and I don't say this lightly. Please do not let your child be around her or unsupervised with her. Her comment about the 10-year-old is also incredibly concerning. I would suggest reporting that to a child protection agency. The only time I've heard women talk like that about a child is when they are the perpetrator towards the child. Comment 8. What did I just read? Your mill is a dumpster fire. This woman belongs on an offender list. Definitely call the boy's mother and tell her everything. No contact until your child is 18. Let her threaten that your husband will lose his family. Let her know you have no problem telling his family all about her inappropriate behavior towards children. I'm better she shuts up really fast. I wish you the best of luck. Comment 9. My brother was 10 when I was born, and he and a friend wanted to watch a diaper change because they were curious. My dad was the one changing me and forbade my brother and his friend from ever being around when I was changed, and none too gently. You did not react enough, in my opinion. Do not let her near your child. Never let anyone, especially on that side of the family, even change her. There is clearly something going on. Story 2. What to do when fiancé defends MIL because she's been drinking. Lately, whenever something happens, I always hear she was drinking. Today, she actually lost her shit because we were talking about babies, etc. She has an autoimmune disorder, and so does her daughter. I have multiple and a different disability. She brought it up that any grandkids will have something autoimmune because of her, and I joked back and said, oh, with fiancé's autoimmune, we are out of luck. He has vitiligo. She lost it, saying I was lying that he doesn't have it, and she starts going on that he also doesn't have hyperhidrosis. She brought this up on her own, not me. He does, he sweats buckets all over me, lol. And that she took him to an endocrinologist last year, and the doctor said he had nothing after he got a blood test. Sorry, but a blood test cannot test for those, lol. I was just like, he does have both of those things, and I argued back for the first time in my life, and she just lost it, saying she knows her son, and it's all in my head, and I'm trying to make him sick when he isn't. His sister was fully defending me, which was shocking, and completely backing me up and telling her to calm down and stop making a scene in front of the entire family. Made him come over, and he said, nope, I have both of those things, and that he never got a blood test, and that he's been told he has underlying autoimmune issues from multiple specialists. Like, we know this. I see his ass every day and see his vitiligo, you do not? Why is it a competition? It's so tiring and actually so ridiculously stupid. I feel his feet sweat on me every night. I hold and love his sweaty hands, and you don't for a reason. I just can't. He defended it all because she had been drinking. Then he says, I know it was wrong and it was rude and shouldn't have happened, but she had been drinking. Well, when is she not? When is she not an entire bottle of wine down at every family function? This was a joint kid's birthday party. If she's always drunk and being nasty to me, when will it ever end? Ugh. Comment 1. Faith Schmaith. She doesn't want her baby boy to grow up and get a life. But that's what we moms are supposed to do, prepare our kids to have lives of their own. Whether they keep in contact after they are grown, though, is entirely up to how well we have done our jobs. Sounds like she is sure she has failed. Congrats on the engagement. You do you. Comment 2. Wow. I am blinded by you fiancé's shiny spine. I'm so glad he shut her down. I'm not surprised she's sulking and posting stuff on Facebook vaguely calling him out, as well as texting passive-aggressive Bible verses to him. Your mill is attempting to guilt trip him with the posts and texts. Stay strong, you guys have got this. Comment 3. Earthly desires, such as going forth to be fruitful and multiply, as the Bible dictates? LOL, these people. Comment 4. I'd block her and let her son continue to ignore her crap while you aren't bothered at all. I also hope you guys have plans on going low/no contact. Comment 5. DH, if your mother's drinking has gotten to the point where she cannot keep a civil tongue in her head or treat me with basic human decency and kindness, then we have reached the point where I no longer want to be anywhere near your mother. So, Enjoy your time visiting her, but she is no longer welcome here. In my home, which is the one place on this planet I should be saved from mental, emotional, verbal, and all other kinds of abuse. Comment 6. If your sweet partner wants to paint himself into that corner, let him. Oh, so she only acts like this when she's been drinking? She's only irrational and not connected to reality when she's been drinking? Then perhaps alcohol is a problem for her, and it'll be better for our relationship if I'm only around her when we're all sober. This is going to have to be hard boundary for me, until there's been several instances of her being a, more or less, normal person. I can't be around her. Our relationship will only continue to take damage until it's too late to have any relationship at all. It can be hard to acknowledge your parents perfect all the time, but he's an adult now too. He's a peer of his mother, not a child of hers. Comment 7. Counter back to him, well, if this is the way she acts when she is drinking, then we should not be around her when she is drinking. If she is always drinking, I guess it sucks for her. Story 3. What awful things did MIL do/say on this visit? We went round for our monthly visit to MIL's. It was a bit longer this time, as we have a family trip coming up and wanted to talk about plans for it. Before anyone questions why we're still going on this trip, it's been planned and booked for a long time. It's also not booked in our name, so it's not like we can cancel and get a refund. Although I'm sure MIL will pull some shit while we are away, I'm also thinking she won't be too badly behaved as my side of the family are going too, and she seems to be on her best behavior whenever she's around my mom. So her behavior should be manageable. Also, I'll have my family to keep me at peace, and I know I won't have to spend the entire time with MIL, and we already have lots of plans to go off and do our own thing without her. Anyway, first thing MIL does was funny to me, as she really shot herself in the foot with it. We're currently sleep training LO, so schedule is very important ATM. She had napped in the car on the way over, but only for 20 minutes, and woke up as we were getting out the car. As soon as we got in, I told her we wanted to try and get her to sleep for a little longer and to not interact with her, or she will wake up even more. She ignores me and runs to LO. You're awake because you're excited to see Nanny. Cheeky girl, you're meant to be sleeping. She coos and smiles at baby, booping her nose. Baby was wide awake now, and I just shrugged. Oh well, MIL looks like this will just push her bedtime forward, so we will have to leave even earlier than we planned. She then looked at me and pouted and said she still might sleep, and then left her alone. She didn't sleep after this, obviously. And I was more than happy to have to leave 30 to 40 minutes earlier than planned, LOL. Second move from MIL was subtle, but she basically called me fat. Yes, me, a new mom who's EBF and 6 months PP. I have been trying to be healthier the last few months by going gym regularly and making sure I'm eating balanced meals, but I have no interest in dieting, especially because the breastfeeding hunger is real for me. DH is plating up food for me when MIL says OP can only have 5 potatoes. There was no shortage on potatoes, and everyone else could have many as they wanted. DH ignored her and loaded my plate as he normally would. Me, why can I only have 5 potatoes? MIL, you don't need more than 5. Me, well, I could say the same for you, but I don't think it's polite to dictate what other people eat. She ignores me, and I eat my potatoes in peace. For slight context for anyone who hasn't seen history, MIL is not allowed to babysit at all, but keeps pushing for us to let her have LO overnight at her house for a sleepover. This is a hard no, and she gets upset over it regularly and constantly tries to change our minds, but we never budge. The last thing we did was see we're getting ready to leave, she was holding the baby. Baby was babbling like she always is. MIL starts saying to baby, you want to stay here, don't you? You want to have a sleepover with Nanny. We ignore her. Then again, look, OP and DH. She's talking, she's saying she wants to stay around Nanny's. DH, no, she's just babbling. She doesn't even understand what you're saying. Mil, she does. She's saying she needs a nanny sleepover and she doesn't want to go home with you. Me, that's funny. I'm pretty sure she's saying she can't wait to go home with mommy and daddy for a bath and snuggles in bed. I then grab LO from her and start putting her in the car seat. MIL drops the happy tone and says, you may not want a break from her, but she probably wants a break from you. The delusion on this woman is insane. So glad we were already leaving, as this comment would have made us leave anyway, especially the way she said it. I just ignored her at this point and grabbed the car seat and started heading out. As I did, I heard DH saying, "Why would she want a break from OP? She is her favorite person in the whole world. She doesn't even like it when she leaves the room or faces away from her for 5 minutes." And Mael didn't respond, and we left. I find it funny how she's progressed with her reasoning for her to have LO overnight. At first, she approached it as if it was what's best for me and DH, that we'd want a break. Then when we established we didn't, she started saying it makes her upset and she's missing out and we are mean to her. We still don't budge. Now she's resorting to acting like it's what LO wants. In what world does a 6-month-old baby want to be apart from their parents overnight to stay around the house of someone she rarely sees? Roll on the family trip. I can't wait to share what crazy shit she does or says. I'd place money on her having a tantrum and crying at some point, which will be hilarious to see. LOL. Comment 1. He's the one needing therapy. Get his head out of his mother's ass. I would stand your ground if she can't be civil to you and give a real as apology, then no, she isn't meeting your baby. Being a grandparent is a privilege, not a right. She hasn't earned that right. It's your job to protect your child from toxic people, and she's toxic. Get your husband in therapy. Comment 2. He needs therapy. He's too enmeshed with his mom. The fact that you had to convince him why what he did was wrong is not good. Tell him you both need individual and couples therapy. But if he doesn't agree, file for divorce. Therapy isn't to make the other person do what they want. It needs to be to work on yourselves. Comment 3. You should be the one demanding he gets therapy. Your husband can't force you to get therapy. I guess one thing you must consider is how much access she will have to your baby if you do get a divorce. I think you and your husband should try couples therapy first and not make any decisions in anger, but this is a tough one. So sorry you are having to deal with such an awful woman. Comment 4. If you can, take video of the tantrum she will inevitably throw. I didn't get a video of a road trip tantrum my mill threw, though my parent, DH, and kids all experienced it. It was beautiful because my youngest, around 6 years old at the time, my mini and my shadow, looked her square in the eye and told her that if she needed a few minutes to calm herself down, she should go sit outside of the restaurant until she could calm her body down. You'll appreciate the pictures and video for years to come. Comment 5. That was the perfect opportunity to train MIL. Silly MIL. Plans made with kids instead of parents are an automatic no. This is a component of tricky people, which has replaced stranger danger. Safe grown-ups know they have to ask mom and dad first. I don't know that your MIL sounds worth explaining all that to, but it's an opportunity to lay the groundwork before you have a toddler she is working up. W. Comment 6. Couple goals right here. Look at that united front. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.